dark circles under his eyes, and he has a twitch. He's always twitching throughout every scene. He's like, it's like, who let this fucking guy in to the Knights of the Round Table? Hello, I just wanted to thank you for clicking on my video, and I wanted to let you know not only do I create content in my YouTube channel here, Class in a Glass, but I'm also on Twitch where I play single-player games, multiplayer games. I do movie reviews, cartoon reviews, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Also, it would be a big help if you can check out my Patreon, where you can gain access to audio commentaries, reactions, and the ability to submit questions for my podcasts and videocasts. And all that content can be found in the links below. In the meantime, enjoy the video.
Quest for Camelot.
We now must get to my scene by scene breakdown for Warner Brothers. Quest for Camelot, chat. The critical and commercial disaster animated film. Chat, typically, before I go ahead and do these reviews, these spoiler reviews, chat, I'd like to ask you a very important question. That question being, how many of you have seen the 1998 animated film Quest for Camelot? I'm very curious. An old-fashioned, Chris? Matter of fact, yes, Divine Miss Klein. I did make myself an old-fashioned. Well, out the orange, chat. I need the orange in there. Helen Burger, I saw. We rented it back in the day. Helen Burger, Vanny. I rented it at Blockbusters. Ooh, there you go. Ace Rock. Nope. The Duma, the movie Corey was supposed to work. That's right. That's right. That was gonna be a little fun fact. Urkel Chicken haunts my dreams to this day. Oh, you mean what the hell is his name? Breakbeak, where the fuck his name was? What the hell is his name again? You just want me to? I want to look it up. Hold on, give me a second here. Bladebeak, that's his name. Oh god, stupid. DeCarlock's never seen it. Brandon Garrett may have watched it as a kid. I honestly don't remember. Same. Mauricio, me, what happened? I saw the trailer even as a kid. I said, hard pass. Hard pass, thank you. I love that. I just like the idea of a kid saying, watching this, just, in the theater, just like sitting up there like little legs and little arms just going, yeah, hard pass. I love that. Oh, that's adorable. Deadpool, welcome to the stream. Maybe I've seen it, don't remember. I'm going to hit on something because you guys are saying something I said during my full-length video and audio commentary for this film. I like that you're bringing this up. Admin, I don't think I've seen it. Judas, I haven't. I liked it. All right. Hardbell 1, W animation sure went down after Corey left. It did indeed. Yeah, 1998. Woo! What, 22, 23 years ago at this point. Here's your vision. I've seen it on Netflix last year. Here's graphics. Yes, good to see produce graphics. Alex Manal, I have not. Or I have not. Kadeem, here, you have. MZ, I remember seeing trailers for Bat Boy. Saw it. We saw every big anime move back in the 90s. A lot of kids did. So this is interesting, chat. Plus, Saying Gamers is it's forgettable. Sir, maybe. I don't think I've watched this movie. Yeah, you know what, chat? It's funny. I only saw clips of this thing. Because like you guys, it's like, did I ever see this movie as a kid? Like, I don't remember. Like, because, like a lot of you guys, a lot of you are like my age or maybe slightly younger than me. Maybe even in your teens. But I think a lot of you guys probably grew up in the Disney Renaissance era of films, especially in the 90s. So stuff like Aladdin and Lion King and, Hercules, what have you, Chad, Beauty and the Beast, all those great films. And, we have very fond memories. We watched those over and over and over again. I remember seeing a lot of those films in the theaters. I remember getting the bubble, on VHS, Chad, like those bubble cassette tapes with them, which I always loved. I was like, look at that. I just love opening them. That was stupid. Look, it's like a bubble. I loved it, Chad. I loved it. But then you had a lot of knockoff movies during this era, this Disney Renaissance. Yes, you had other stuff like, Pixar was coming into itself, chat. You had like Toy Story by this time in 95. You actually had the release of Bug's Life in 98 as well. I mean, 98 was an interesting year for animation, chat. You had a lot of anime movies of varying wide quality, chat. It was I mean, how different they all were of each other, and also similar at the same time. This was the same year we had Bug's Life, Ants, and of course, I think Hercules was this year too. You had Hercules this year, and then you also had Quest for Camelot to chat. And you'll notice it's like this kind of looks similar. It looks a little similar to some of those Disney era film shots. I think that's people thinking like maybe I saw it, maybe I did. I'll tell you what, even if you did and you forgot it, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it because I think I may have seen clips of this on TV one day or something. I did not sit down and watch this until very recently. I did a full-length video and audio commentary for this film on my Patreon for Corbin Hunter Armstrong. Thank you, Corbin Armstrong, for suggesting this. And I realized why, even if I did see this, why I would forget it, chat, because this is one of the most blasé, forgettable 90s era 2D Disney-esque animated films that came out this year, chat. Now, it also doesn't help that it's a piece of shit. This movie is awful, chat. I mean, it tries to capitalize on all of the big Oh, Prince of Egypt was this year, too. You had Prince of Egypt, which was absolutely a fantastic animated film. That was the best animated movie that year. Other than that, and Hercules, probably. So this wasn't too bad, chat. But again, wide fucking variety, chat. The contrast was stark between some of these animated films. So I was like, all right, shit, here we go. But like watching this film, chat, it just tries to ape those Disney era, Renaissance era films. And it fails completely in every single regard, chat. Whether it comes to the animation, which is weird. Like we'll get into it, chat. But like, let's just talk about the animation for a second. The way certain characters move, it's just like, I don't think they're supposed to move that way. It almost feels like a 3D, like the rigging for the characters was off. Like the villain characters especially. There's a character named, I think, Rubert. Lord Rubert is played by Gary Oldman. Bad year for Gary Oldman, by the way, chat. In 1998, not only did he did Quest for Camelot, chat, he also did Lost in Space, the cinematic adaptation of Lost in Space, regarded as one of the worst films of all time. Hoof, chat. Spiders. We'll get to that someday. That'll be saved. Iron Giant was 98 too, man. Okay. So there were some good animated movies in 98, chat. Thank God. Oh, here goes 97. That was 98. Oh, there you go. Mulan was a great animated film. I'll say that, chat. But like, there's certain characters, like the way they move, it's like, I don't think they're supposed to be moving that way. And almost like they felt like they just went cheap on this movie. Like, there'll be scenes when the characters are moving and it's just like robotic. Like, they're kind of stopping and doing like this. And like, before they're like kind of moving slowly or smoothly, I should say, just moving smoothly, just like, all right, things are going, and it was like, okay. And then we just cut immediately. It's like, what the hell just happened? There's weird transitions. The editing is somehow bad in the animated film. Like, characters will just randomly show up. It's like, whoa, they're here now? But we didn't really get a sense of that they were coming at all. They're just there. It's just like, okay. There's no lead up. So, from the animation level, from the editing level, terrible, chat. Thank you, Divine Miskind, for the 300 biddies. My heart's a pitter-pattern as we speak. Thank you. Cheers, Lou. This has been such a generous stream, chat. Thank you so much. So, animation editing, terrible, chat. And then it doesn't help that all the songs are just awful. Like, there's probably there's two good songs in this movie. There's two good songs in the movie, chat, and I will sing both of them to you. But, you know me. I love a good Disney-esque, 90s-esque animated song, particularly the villain songs, chat. And my heart broke when this movie was happening, chat, when we got to the villain song. I was like, okay, Gary Oldman, here we go. We're going to get Lord Rubert's villain song. And he is the worst song in the film. It's not even a song. It's just odd transitions, and he's mostly just screaming through. It's not even like, there's no melody. Like, I'm trying to, okay, where's the melody? Where's the kind of the rhythm? There's none. It just kind of becomes all these different things, chat. It's a mishmash of different genres, and it's an abomination. And it's much like most of this movie, so I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, you lost me. You don't have a good fucking villain song, you don't have a be prepared or poor unfortunate souls or hellfire. Like, none of that, chat. None of that's not there. That's not on display. And it sucks. And it also doesn't help, chat, that all the characters, well, most of the characters are annoying. Like your lead characters, chat, you just hate them. You're like, I know you're the girl who doesn't want to be treated, like a girl in this age. You don't want to, be forced into a life of servitude and have to, listen to what man has to say to you. But you stop being so fucking annoying. Like, that's the other big thing. Like, stop being annoying. Your main character you follow in this movie, chat, Kaylee, she is the worst. And I'll explain to you because, like, Chris, well, maybe there's a reason why she's acting this way. I mean, she's living during the Middle Ages. I mean, women were basically treated like cattle back then. Yes, they were, except her. She gets everything thrown at her, chat. She gets everything that she's ever wanted in her life. And yet she's still annoying and great, Sonny. I'm sorry. All the creature characters you get, like the dragons, like annoying as hell. And like, let's combine forces, chat. Let's get, stand-up comedian Don Rickles and Eric Idle as a two-headed dragon. Well, that sounds fun. No, it's not. It's a nightmare. You don't want that. And let's have him do a musical number where they're referencing technology that does not exist or in this era. Or characters or your historical figures that won't come for centuries. It'll be like Ron Williams' Aladdin. No, it won't. It won't make any goddamn sense. At least when he, you know what? You know why it worked in Aladdin, chat? When you had that character reference all these things in the future, because it was Robin fucking Williams. That's why it worked. That's why it worked. And the animation actually matched and it went along with the humor, improved his humor, chat. But when you have when you have kind of lackluster animation, and you got two voice actors who aren't really giving it their all, sing a horrifically written song, chat, it's not going to work. Like overall, this is just, this feels Asylum level. So good, man. This kind of feels like, if you told me, like, Asylum made a 2D animated movie and Quest for Camelot was that, I'd be like, yeah, I could see that. I could buy it. It's on that level to me, chat. It's just a bad film. You don't like anybody. You like maybe one character. We'll get to that character. But his whole background, like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. It doesn't make any sense. And apparently, chat, a lot of other people felt that way in 1998 because movie was a critical disaster, chat. Critics hated it. Audiences hated it. It pulled very poorly with families. And it was a box office failure for Warner Brothers. They had a budget of $40 million. She had a box office of $38.1 million. And it also had apparently a negative repercussions, chat, on another animated film that came out the year. That's what I remember now. Iron Giant. Because of the performance, I believe, of Quest for Camelot, they shifted Iron Giant. They had that movie come out sooner without really any marketing or giving the audience or audiences any sense of what the movie was about. And that film sadly became, at the time a box office failure, later made all of its money back on VOD, thank God, considered a modern day classic, chat, as we all know. But it's like, this film had such a negative effect on so many fucking things. It's incredible. It boggles the mind, chat. But we got to go ahead and get into it, chat. We start, chat, in the era of King Arthur and Merlin. So, as you know the story. They all start, okay, so you mud people know the story of King Arthur and Merlin. Merlin found this schmuck, this little blonde-haired, blue-eyed schmuck who's working some goddamn stable, and he's like, all right, everyone's trying to get Excalibur out of this fucking stone, and all these Neanderthals and barbarians, they were trying, Chad, they couldn't do it. Trying to make up for something they didn't have, and they couldn't do nothing. Thank you, Dr. 5 Days. This piece of shit is why Iron Giant failed. Yeah, it is. It played it was one of the reasons why it did. So you had all these fucking brawly men, all these Neanderthals, all these Cro-Magnums, all these cave people just trying to get this fucking stone out of this rock. Merlin's like, my little derpy shepherd stable boy, he'll pull this fucking sword out of this rock. And they're like, he ain't gonna do that. He ain't gonna do that, Merlin. Merlin's like, I'm gonna make a bet with all you guys right now. All right, if he pulls that fucking stone out of that rock, he will be king of all of this land, of all of England. All right? And they're like, all right, what if he can't do it? Then you can kill him. And fucking Arthur's like, oh, shit. Oh, Merlin, why'd you say that? You gotta pull the sword out of the rock, Arthur. Merlin, I don't know if I can do that. You gotta pull this, like Rick and Morty, chat. That's what Arthur and Merlin's relationship is. And he's like, you gotta do it, Artie. And it's like, oh God. And so thankfully, Chad, this derpy little shepherd stable boy, he grabs a hold of that hilt and he pulls Excalibur from the stone. And all the guys are like, well, fuck, okay, I guess we gotta follow Artie now. We gotta follow Arthur. And so they put together all their disgusting mud huts and hobbit holes and everything else they got you into like a kingdom. By the way, the King Arthur's castle, it's a fucking dump. It looks like shit. I'm like, I want to oh yeah, King Arthur's castle, here we fucking go. It's going to be like regal and nice and ornate. It's going to be huge and with giant stones and multiple towers. No, it's kind of like just one big fucking ugly looking tower. And it's like, Jesus, wow, this is like way before like they started like getting actual good building tools. By the way, Dark Ages and Middle Ages were awful. It was a horrible time to live in, chat. You lived to the ripe old age of maybe 32. If you're a woman, you were typically sold into marriage at 12, and you died on the birthing bed at 14. That was life in the Middle Ages, Shed. And then you were lucky if you got that, because you might be afflicted by all the various plagues that happened during this time, Chad. All the vermin that carry these plagues. Castles, I learned this in weird history. Castles they were infested with rats, and there's nothing you could do. Like, you could set up traps. You can have dogs and cats there. They bred so fucking fast that they would just be there. You couldn't get rid of them. And so, and also, because castles were because they're all made of stone, they were fucking cold, and because they lacked irrigation equipment, chat, they always smelled like shit. So you always had the cesspit, and the cesspit would poison the water. That's why no one could drink water. Everyone's drinking wine and beer, and that would just destroy your kidneys because it was super fermented, and that's why you died of alcohol poisoning, because everyone was miserable all the time, so you would drink. Middle Ages sucked. So, I mean, I love all this. I think that's why fantasy, like, takes, like, from the Middle Ages, the aesthetic, and kind of runs with it, makes it, oh, it's so beautiful and pretty, and it's all about honor and chivalry, because that time period was a fucking nightmare. It was a nightmare. So I'm like, thank God we live here, chat. Listen, there's a lot of problems in this time and age. There is, absolutely. But we are very lucky to have not lived during that time period, because I would be dead. I would not be here. Most of us wouldn't survive, chat. I'm shocked humanity got through the Dark Ages. Europe should have just had a population of fucking 0 at the end. When you had all these other places like in Africa and Asia, which are doing pretty good, and the Americas, which are doing pretty good compared to Europe. Holy shit, pirates, disgusting. Flea bottom from Game of Thrones. It was like that, except even worse. Oh, Lord. He actually, my bad, is that goddamn bubonic plague. People didn't wash their damn hands and shit was on the street. It's true. It's true. They just threw that's what they would do, chat. I don't mean to get off topic, but it's kind of related. They would piss and shit in a bowl at night and go, ah. They would put it under their bed, and so the room would just smell like stale piss and shit, and then they would take it out and they would just dump it out the window, and it would hit somebody, and they'd be covered in human shit and feces and urine, and they would take that home and they would infect their whole family. It was a nightmare. It was a goddamn nightmare. And that is what this movie is, shit. That's what's happening, because the Artie and Merlin, they erect this fucking tower, and they put up this really shitty-looking wall around it. Everyone's like, this is Camelot, isn't it great? And, you know, Artie and Merlin, they brought together all the areas of England and Scotland. Oh, the Scots weren't very happy about it. And Wales. And he had such a great kingdom, chat. And he had many chivalrous knights, including Sir Lionel, chat. We're introduced to Sir Lionel and his family. The Kaylee. Lady Kaylee, chat, and Lady, I don't know, Jezebel. I don't know the fuck her name. It doesn't matter. His wife. And Sir Lionel, chat, he's like one of the most, he is all about valor. You know, he's one of King Artie's most respected knights, and he loves his wife, and he loves his daughter, and we have an opening song and dance number, chat. It's not memorable. I'll sing some of these songs. This one's not fucking memorable. And, you know, the daughter's just like, oh, Dad, I love you so much. And they're rolling, and like, we're at his home, chat, rolling on the sand dunes, and they're having a great time right by the sea. You know, they're always pretending to be, you know, knights and like at war. And she's like, well, Dad, I can't wait to grow up to be a knight. And he's like, yeah. Oh, yeah, you'll definitely, you'll definitely be able to do that, and I won't, like, sell you to, like, some lord who's, like, 50 years old when you're 12, and then have you bred like a broodmare or anything like that. I'll definitely not do that, because that's what they would do back then. This is, don't worry, it's an animated movie, that never happens. And so, he's playing with his daughter, but Artie's guys, King Artie's guys, Shed, they're coming in there, and they're saying, listen, Lionel, you're all about valor. You need to report to Camelot, okay? Because we got to have like a round, remember King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table? We got to have a round table meeting. And he's like, shit, okay, I got to go over there. Jezebel, Lady Jezebel, whatever your name is, I love you. Smooch. Kaylee, I love you so much. I promise I'll come back, and I'll teach you how to be a real knight. Really, Dad? Really? You'll teach me how to be a knight and not die like in the next scene? Yeah, that's what I'll do. And so he gets on his horse, and he rides off, Chet. He rides off of all these knights having a great goddamn time. And it's like, all right, shit, well, there's, you know, this is serious business. They're going to be, you know, meeting King Arthur, chat. They're going to have a very important meeting. But that, chat, is when we break into song. And you bet your fucking ass I'm going to sing it, chat. We got to sing this goddamn song. United we stand, baby. That's what we got to sing right now, all right? This is when they get good old Sir Lionel, and you get all the rest of the knights, Chet, Sir Gawain, all of them, as they go to meet King Artie, Chet, and Merlin. United we stand, now and forever. In truth, divided we fall. Hand upon hand, brother to brother, no one shall be greater than all. United we stand, now and forever. In truth, divided we fall. Hand upon hand, brother to brother, brother, no one shall be greater than all. It's been 10 years we celebrate all that made our kingdom great. Liberty and justice for all. We're in America all of a sudden? Each of us will now divide in equal shares our countryside, promising equality for all who reside. Bullshit. United we stand, now and forever. In truth, divided we fall. Hand upon hand, brother to brother, no one shall be greater than all. Liberty, justice, trust. And they all start doing this weird thing. It's like the goddamn, like Captain Planet. He's our hero. We got the kids going, fire, water, wind, friendship. It's like, what the fuck? They all start like throwing these shields up and they create this light. And this one guy's like, liberty, justice, trust shall be greater than all. Freedom, peace, honor, no one greater than all. Goodness, strength, valor, it's Sir Lionel, shall be greater than me. And I will say, chat, he's a shitty character, but of everyone in the film so far, he's so over the top. I'm like, okay, I'm going with it. Let's see what you got here, chat. Then me! Because you have all these really generic-looking white-bearded guys who are like, yeah, typical knights. You know, they got maybe, you know, long flowing locks. They got these big beards. You see King already, chat. He's got his golden locks. And then we have this fucking abomination. Who's sitting at the end of the table, this giant hulking guy who has this ginger colored hair. He's balding on top. He has this long hair. It's all greasy. His fingernails are super long. They're all just looks like they're falling apart. He has these dark circles under his eyes, and he has a twitch. He's always twitching throughout every scene. He's like, it's like, who let this fucking guy in to the Knights of the Round Table? I don't know what, you know, your whole recruiting, you know, process is, Artie, but Lord, why would you get this guy? This is Lord Rubert, voiced by Gary Oldman. And listen, 98, again, chat, was not a good year for Gary Oldman. He's terrible in this. I mean, it's not his fault. The lines they give him, the song they give him, it's like, ooh, this isn't working. But I love that song ends. It just ends. It's like, I wonder who the villain is, chat. Shall be greater than me. Yes, Arthur, it's so wonderful to be back with you. And he goes, oh, Lord Rubert, you wish to speak? Yes, Arthur, I do. I think we should have a change in leadership. Oh, do you? Well, what has made you decide this? Well, I just decided I should kill you. And so the villain's plan, chat, Lord Rubert's plan. You're like, okay, this is the villain of the movie. He's gonna have like a big plan to overthrow Arthur. That's what he wants to do, chat. And what's it gonna be? His plan is just to take out his sword and just run across the fucking room to try to chop Arthur's head off. That's it. That's the whole fucking thing. Another bug hunt. Think of the 100 biddies. It's like, really? This is all you're gonna do? You're just gonna run across the fucking room and kill him, and you think no one's gonna stop you? You think they're all gonna follow you? So that's what he's gonna do. He's like, I'm gonna kill Artie, I'm gonna take Excalibur, and then everyone's gonna be, everyone's gonna worship me as their new king. I don't think it's gonna work that out. I don't think it's gonna work out that way, Robert. Weird. No, again, another bug hunt. Thank you so much for the 100 biddies. I appreciate that. And so he fucking goes at Artie, chat, good old King Artie. He's like, oh! And then Sir Lionel's like, don't worry, my liege, I'll protect you. And Sir Lionel takes his shield, and fucking Rubert just cuts right through that fucking thing. And he goes, ah! And Sir Lionel just, ah! He just goes down, chat. Just caves in his fucking clavicle and chest. Sword goes in there, gets stuck in there. Rubert, he fucking freaks, and he takes out running. He's like, oh, beware, Arthur, I shall return. And he runs away. And they're like, oh, geez, well, at least Artie. Oh, God. Hey, Lionel, you doing okay? Sir Lionel is dead, chat. He got a fucking sword right through his goddamn chest. It's still there. He's like, there's no modern medicine. By the way, chat, modern medicine in the Middle Ages, not fucking great. Not great. You never want to get injured in war, chat. You'd be lucky you got out of every single scrape. You know, with maybe a few cuts and bruises. Because you got some puncture inside of you, that's fucking it. Infection, baby. Or very, very painful. Thank you, D-Jokes, for the 5 days. I forgot there was a time when Gary Oldman was obviously the villain. Thank God he played Sirius Black. Commissioner Gordon after this piece of crap. Yes. He got typecast for a while as villain. See, he laughed soon after this, like in, 2000, 2001? He played the, what's his name? I forget the guy character. But in Hannibal, he played the guy who was all fucked up. He's the guy that like cut his own face off in that movie. I mean, he was actually good in that, but not a great film though. So, you know, they fucking wrap up Sir Lionel in a cloth and shit, and they send him on home, and he's all rotten, and he's like, he's all bloated when he gets there. Oh, all bloated, chat. Rigor mortis set in. Little Kaylee's there. She's like, Dad, are you okay? And they're like, nah, he's not good. And they bury him in his home, chat. They bury him there in this mausoleum, chat, because they don't want to stink up the fucking ground. They want to infect the ground because that's used for farming. So they put him in a stinky stone sarcophagus. And Kaylee, you know, the King Arthur's like, hey, Kaylee, oh, Jesus, listen. Sorry your dad died. I'll let you and your mom, like, have control of this land and shit. But, you know, when you're, like, 12 years old, I gotta sell you off and breed you. That's how it has to happen, I guess. If anyway, it doesn't happen, though, chat. And he's like, here's your dad's shield, I guess. And she's like, cool. And then she sings a song, chat. She sings a goddamn song about how sad she is. And I believe it's On My Father's Wings. And I'm going to go ahead and do this song. Now, the thing is that's weird about this song, chat. So she's going off. She ages, by the way. So she goes from, I don't know, 8 to like 16, 17. I don't know. And we see her life on the farm. And the thing is that really just makes Kaylee because what they're doing, chat, she's Belle from Beauty and the Beast. That's exactly what she is. It's her she looks like Belle. Like her facial structure, her brown eyes, her brown hair, her auburn color hair. It's like all that's very Belle. She's an independent woman, which is good on its face. On the page, it's like, oh, that's good. That's good. Like Belle's a great female character, chat. She's not a princess, not a damsel. You need to be rescued. Like I like that. The thing is, though, chat, she's a piece of shit. And the reason why is because she's just become so bored by her life that she's neglectful of all things. Not only her mother, but also of all the fucking livestock and the farm animals. All the fucking farm animals live in fear of Kaylee because she just goes around and messes with all of them. So I know it's supposed to be like a comedic, but it's like I didn't like this at all. When she's like feeding the animals, like this, the first thing I noticed when she's gonna feed the pigs. They need to be fed, Chad. They gotta be fattened for winter, or we gotta eat them. And we got to cure the meat. We got to salt the meat. We got to salt the pork. Because if we don't, we'll all fucking die. All right? And what she does, she gets the pig slop and she's singing her stupid song and she just throws it on top of them. And they're like, we didn't eat. You put it in the trough. We need to eat. My God. But she just throws it on top of them. She's messing with the cows and the cattle and the bulls, like just accidentally. She's walking a piece of wood and it slaps the cows in the ass and they go, oh. So they're all getting nervous and they're, you know, ejaculating their milk in the buckets. But it's like, that's aggressive. You shouldn't do that. You know, she's constantly fucking with the chickens. Oh, by the way, the chickens, let me tell you. So Jaleel White, who famously played, you know, Urkel in, what was it? Oh, Jesus. Family Matters? What was the name of the show? Family Matters? But Jaleel White's in the movie. And he has a very, very small role as a comedic character. And he plays the character of Bladebeak, who at the moment is just a chicken. He's a chicken, and pretty much all he does at this point in the movie is that he's just lusting. Oh, I guess he's a chicken rooster. They go back, and he looks like a chicken, but he acts like a rooster. And all he does is he tries to fuck all these chickens in the beginning, but then he has this really, like, robust, girthy, like, curvy, like, Mommy D, like, Lady D chicken wife who's like, don't fuck those other chickens. He's like, I gotta fuck them. That's their whole thing. Family Matters. My mistake. I said that. I did say that. Family Matters. Nice. I got it. That's his role. And he'll cluck, like you hear it's Jaleel White going cluck, 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 and he'll say like a word of dialogue like, oh no. That's pretty much it. And then he's relegated to some of the worst stuff in the movie. We'll get to it, chat. We'll get to it. We're not there yet. But she's just abusing all these fucking animals. So I'll sing her goddamn song when she's all sad while she's committing atrocities against these poor farm animals, chat. If you were with me now, I'd find myself in you. If you were with me now, you're the only one who knew all the things we planned to do. I want to live my life the way you said I would, with courage as my light, fighting for what's right, like you made me believe I could. And I'll fly on my father's wings to places I have never been. There's so much I've never seen, and I can feel his heartbeat still. And I will do great things on my father's wings. This world I'll never see. My dreams that just won't be. This horse who strides with one day ride will have covered more distance than me. I'll fly on my father's wings to places I have never been. There's so much I've never seen, and I can feel his heartbeat still. And I'll do great things on my father's wings, someday with his spirit to guide me, and his memory beside me. I will be free to fly on my father's wings to places I have never been. There's so much I've never seen, and I can feel his heartbeat still. And I'll do great things on my father's wings, on my father's wings. And sing! Nailed it! And animal abuse. Animal abuse, chat. Animal abuse is horrific. It's fucking horrific, chat. And eventually, we cut from all the animal abuse and the terrible sinning, and we are in Camelot, and all the fucking people, like Artie's there, and all the other guys are there, and they're like, it's things are going pretty good. Camelot's, in peace. Got plenty of, grain and livestock. Everyone's there's really no problems. Oh my God! Oh God! A griffin attacks. A griffin comes through the loft, chat, the skylight, and goes, wow! And it starts just grabbing people and shit, and it starts eating them, chat. This fucking griffin. It starts attacking him. Artie's like, whoa! And Artie, he takes out the sword, shit, he goes, nah! And the griffin's like, nah! And it slashes him, chat. And it grabs Excalibur, grabs the sword, chat, of Camelot within its talons. It goes, wow! And it starts flying away. And King Arthur's like, oh, the sword of Excalibur. And Merlin's like, what? What's going on? Oh, Jesus. Oh, fuck. Oh, no. Oh, jeez. Okay. I gotta think. Ah, Aiden, my silver-winged hawk, where are you? And Merlin summons this hawk named Aiden and says, listen, Aiden, fuck, oh God. You gotta fly after the giant griffin and, fucking Jesus. Just, I don't know, kill it or something. Just get the sword back. Aiden's like, and he flies away. And so you have this giant griffin that flies over the forbidden forest, shit. But then Aiden, the silver-winged hawk, chat, just starts slicing and dicing. And the griffin's like, the fuck was that? Because it sliced where it gets his face. He's like, oh, shit. And the griffin drops the sword, chat. He drops his sword in the Forbidden Forest, and the griffin's like, shit, I got a dive bomb in there. But then all of a sudden, chat, hentai trees. The trees from Evil Dead 1 and 2 show up here, chat, and they start grabbing onto the griffin, trying to drag it down in the Forbidden Forest. It's like, okay, oh, Jesus. That seems kind of nefarious and ominous, chat. And eventually the griffin's like, all right, fuck this. I can't deal with all what's going on here. And he just fucking flies away. And Aiden's just like, I don't know what to do. And he flies away too. And then meanwhile, chat, we cut back to Kaylee and her mom. And they're going to have some fucking festival at Camelot or something. And, Kaylee's getting all dressed up. And she's like, Mom, I don't want to be a lady. I want to be a knight just like Dad. I want to be, chivalrous and rescue damsels in distress. Whatever damsels are. She doesn't know what a damsel is, chat. It's like, really? And, Lady Jezebel's like, listen, hey, Kaylee, I gotta sell you off to like some rich lord so we can continue this whole thing. And you gotta start popping up babies. This is just how it is. That's what I did. That's what I did. And you gotta do it too, okay? You gotta do it for the family. And then, oh, thank God that was stopped though, chat, because all of a sudden, these cave people, these fucking cave people, these barbarians just burst into their little village, and in their little hut. They say they have a village, but I don't see any goddamn village around here. It's very weird. It's like, oh yeah, we have our own village. We never see the village. We only see their own domicile, chat, which is like, okay, where is the village? We never see it. But these barbarians burst in, and they're going, blah, blah. They're like, oh shit. And they kill the staff, chat. They kill the maids and the waiters, all them, I don't know, the servants. And stab him in the tummies. And then who fucking walks in, chat? You hear him before you see him. Lady Jezebel, it's been so long. And he takes off this giant red horned, like, rimmed helmet, chat. And it's fucking Lord Rupert, chat. It's Gary Oldman. And he's like, I've come for you. Yes, Lady Jezebel. And no, Lady Kaylee, you're all a part of my plan. And he's just always blinking weird and shit. And then we get, okay, we're gonna get, and then we kind of hear like a beat happening, like, all right, getting some music playing, and we're gonna get the villain song. We're gonna get the villain song. And it is the absolute fucking worst song in the movie. I'm like, it doesn't have a melody. Like, it's mostly just Gary Oldman yelling the song. Like, I'll give him this. Like, this is Gary Oldman singing, but I wouldn't even know how to, I don't even know how to sing this. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it, chat. And so his whole thing is, it's weird because he's basically describing, like, what he did, kind of, to be here. And he apparently, he's going to use Jezebel to get into Camelot, but he wants to get the sword, Excalibur, all that bullshit. But he also got a potion from a witch. We never know about this witch. Never meet this witch. I got this potion from this witch. Okay. By the way, you know what it says in the potion? Acme. I'm like, oh, because it's Warner Brothers. Get it? Acme. Ha ha ha. And he pours it into like a pit. Like, I don't know, it's the cesspit or something. He pours it in there, and he just starts throwing like swords and shields and stuff in there. And he grabs like a chicken. He grabs the Jaleel White chicken from earlier, going, oh no, I go that. And he throws the chicken in there, and he comes out, and he's Bladebeak, and so he's like part chicken, part blade. They're like machine men now. And he starts like kicking his guys in there, and they're like coming out as abominations. And some of these guys are like, whoa, that looks really cool. It's like, no, fuck that. I'd be like, oh my God, this is horrifying. The guys, we gotta get out. We gotta jump him. He's gonna turn us into monsters. But they seem to be like, oh, okay, I'll be a monster. It's fucking weird. Play like the vampire? No, not play like the vampire. No. No, he comes out, and his beak has been transformed into an axe blade. And he can't lift his head anymore, so he's like, he's constantly falling down. And he has like a little helmet now, and it's like little like chainmail armor, like fish scale armor. That's about it. And I don't know why it does that, but that's what it does. So it combines flesh and steel and armor and shit. But this is his song. I'm gonna try, chat, to sing this. I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna give it the freshman effort, chat. The good old college try. Camelot! Let's go back to war and violence. I'm so bored with peace and silence. Nights of evil, filled with fear. Your worst dream. That's my idea of fun. Let darkness find its sad ways. Let's go back to the good old bad days. No more foolish acts of kindness. Arthur and his kingdom will be mine. Years from now, no one will bother to recall your good King Arthur, because all this will be mine. This will all be mine. I have a plan. It includes you. You, Juliana, will lead me to Camelot, where I will claim all that is mine. And the back of your wagons my men will all hide. You'll sit up front as the gates open wide. Now watch me create my mechanical army with pride. And then he does this weird fucking robot dance. Remember I told you earlier in the movie, chat, the characters will suddenly just be like super robotic? He starts doing this. Like, I'm like, why? Wait, where'd that come from? Is this all right? Maybe because they're like mechanical robot men? I don't know. With this poison I bought from some witches, a drop on this chicken, and watches it switches into a weapon that I can use at will. Now this chicken can kill. Ta-da, behold, Bladebeak. Stand right up and enter quickly. I'll transform the meek and sickly into Iron Man with hands of steel. Yes, yes, into the water quickly now. Go, you fools. Next, stand up straight. No, move it along. No, that's no good. Prepare for the dawn of a new age, the Ruberian age, year one. This is him yelling. It's yelling dialogue. Bring on the darkness, bring on the gloom. We are the army of glory and gloom. Bring on the darkness, bring on the gloom. We are the army of glory and gloom. Only one will be revered, worshipped, hated, loved, and feared. I just take a few words. I, me, and mine. You were mistaken if you believed. Rubert was someone who crumbled and leave. Now I am back and I'll be staying this time. I told you once, I told you twice. Everything you see before you, every last bit of it will be mine. Awful song. Awful goddamn song. I think I did a better job. I'm evil. That's his song. It's like, I get it. I think Chris is doing better. I think I did. You know what? I'm going to call it. I think I did a better job. Nia Brownie, mommy. Welcome, Nia Brownie. Hope you're doing very well. And what's so, bars, thank you, Bilbo. And what's so fucking funny about this is that he tells his guys to jump into the fucking potion abomination flesh steel pool. The guards are holding Kaylee and her mother. And this one guy, like, oh, how's Kaylee going to escape? She's going to show off her skills. That, oh, no, she's just not some ordinary lady. That she is a knight. That she has fighting abilities. No. He just lets go. He just lets go of her. And he just walks into the pool. And she's just like, I think I'm gonna run. And she just fucking takes off running. Mom's like, go, Kaylee, go. And so she jumps on the fucking horseback, chat, and she fucking takes off running. And Rubert's like, where is she going? No, we need her for the plan. Go after her. Find. Oh, no, I think did she hear something here? No, yeah, she does. Okay, so before all this shit, I forgot about this one thing. So, right before she's let go by the guy, the fucking griffin comes down. And the griffin has a voice actor, and he sounds like this, which is not the voice I imagine coming from a griffin. You know, even if it's evil, I would expect it to sound more like this. My Lord Rubert, I apologize. I have lost Excalibur. Because he tells them I lost Excalibur. He's like, oh, Rubert, there's been a small complication. It's like, why does he sound this way? It just took me aback, the voice acting for the griffin. And Rubert's like, you stupid feather thing. Excalibur's been lost in the Forbidden Forest. And Kaylee's like, oh, lost the Forbidden Forest. Okay. And so then she's let go of, and then she gets on the horseback, and she takes off running. And Rubert's like, someone after her, please. And they all chase after her. And then we get like a really odd song, because then Lady Jezebel, or whatever the fuck her name is, I don't remember, but Lady Juliana. Lady Juliana starts singing. And it's actually a popular song that came out like in the 90s and 2000s. It was written for this movie. And it was called, I believe, The Prayer. It was performed by, Celine Dion. I think Celine Dion comes in and sings this song, chat, for the Juliana character. And it doesn't match what's going on. So when this is happening, chat, Kaylee's being fucking pursued by these abomination monsters. And they're like, they're trying to get her. And she's like, oh, so you need like a really like, like a chaotic, like action-y song. You know, the ba-ba-bum-bum-ba, doo-doo-doo, some bullshit like that. And they have this like very just like, like some melodic, like really soft sounds. Like, this doesn't make any fucking sense. Thank you, by the way. Lady Juliana, I do not need to see that. I do not need to see that. Jerburgers, thank you for the follow, money, Hawkbear. And so we get this song playing here, chat, and this does not match. I'm not about this song here, chat. I'm gonna do my best. Now, keep in mind, chat, fucking abomination monsters are chasing after this 16, 17-year-old girl in the Forbidden Forest. I pray that you'll be our eyes and watch us where we go and help us to be wise in times we don't know. Let this be a prayer as we go our way. Lead us to the place. Guide us with your grace to a place where we'll be safe. I pray we'll find your light and hold it to our hearts when stars go out each night. Remind us where you are. Let this be our prayer. When shadows fill our day, lead us to a place. Guide us to with your grace. Give us faith so we'll be safe. Meanwhile, just being chased by abomination monsters. We ask that life be kind and watch us from above. We hope each soul will find another soul to love. Let this be a prayer, just like every child need to find a place. Guide us with your grace. Give us faith so you'll be safe. Need to find a place. Guide us with your grace. Give us faith so we'll be safe. And she runs into the Forbidden Forest shed on this horse. She runs in the Chris Hansen voice. Take a seat. Thank you, Spock. Thank you. Pure peace and beauty in my voice. I appreciate that. And so she runs in the Forbidden Forest, chat. Falls off her horse, fucking takes off, fucking kicks her. It gets going. There's a horse in the beginning, a little pony she was riding. His kid, she's like, "Fuck you, Kaylee. I hope you die here. You've abused us long enough." He did this for the other animals. And the guard, the fucking monsters, you know, they show up and they're on their abomination horses and they're like, blah, 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 I'm trying to kill her. And then all of a sudden, chat, fucking Daredevil shows up. I'm not joking. This character named Garrett, who is voiced by Carrie Elwes, chat. Yes, you know, As You Wish, the Princess Bride, you know, the Dread Pirate Roberts, chat. Wesley shows up to save Kaylee, not the damsel in distress. And he's Daredevil. He's blind, but he can kick fucking. He's the best. Garrett is the best character in the movie, chat, because he starts kicking all these goddamn monsters' ass, like literally of kung fu. He has he's like rocking with the Donatello, bamboo stick, and he just starts slapping the shit out of all these guys. They're like, what the fuck? And then he doesn't even have to, he doesn't kill him, chat, because the flora and fauna does. This one guy gets drowned in a whirlpool, and the other one is eaten by this rock frog. It literally vores him to death. And Garrett's like, "Milady, are you okay?" She's like, "I'm fine. I might be a lady, but I can be brave like you." He's like, "Okay, take it easy." And this is the start of the relationship, chat. Like, it's very caustic, very negative, but you know exactly where it's going to end up later on in the movie. And Kaylee's like, "Oh, I guess I could use your help. I guess I could use, someone's help." He goes, "Yes, I'll be happy to help you." And helps her stand up. And she goes, "Oh, I had no idea you were so ruggedly handsome." And he is, chat. He is a fucking beautiful man. He's like Matt Murdock. Matt Murdock's a handsome man. And this is weird because we learned something about him later on in the movie, like how he became blind. It's like, this doesn't make any fucking sense, but we'll get to it, chat. And she goes, "No, you're blind." And he's like, "I know, I was being sarcastic." And she's like, "Oh." She's like, "Listen, Garrett, I really need your help." And then all of a sudden, chat, before that. She says, "I need your help. Excalibur was lost in the Forbidden Forest. It's King Arthur's sword." He's like, "Oh, yeah, I know about King Arthur. He lost the sword. Oh, geez, that sounds awful." And then you hear this, caw. And then we see Aiden, the hawk that Merlin sent earlier to attack the griffin, come down. And it lands on Garrett's arm. And he goes, "Well, we'll go off and get it. Don't you worry." And she's like, "Well, you mean the two of us?" He goes, "No, me and Aiden." And he says, "I've known Aiden for years. We've been the best of friends. He's guided me through this whole forest." And so, but we saw Merlin summon Aiden in the beginning of the movie. So it's inconsistent. Like, can he just summon did he teleport the hawk? I don't know. But it's like, sure, it's been watching this kid and Merlin. I bet this is what's gonna happen. So they set up this whole thing with Garrett where he was at Camelot before. Something fucking horrible happens to him where he ends up in the circumstances that he's in. Something horrible happens. They don't explain why he's there, but it's like, apparently he didn't felt he was good enough for Camelot anymore. And I bet Merlin's like, "Okay, if this fucking King Arthur doesn't work out, I'm going to use this goddamn kid as the next King Arthur type to take over." Because he's basically been training him in the fucking woods, in the swamp, chat, like Yoda does to Luke Skywalker. That's what the character of Garrett is, because he's like a fucking Jedi the way he moves around. And Kaylee's like, "Listen, I want to go with you." He goes, "No, we're going to take care of it. You don't know what you're doing." And she's like, "Excuse me." And he's like, "A song is coming on." And Carrie Elwes did not do his own singing for this movie. It's fucking obvious when you hear him talk, when you hear him sing. There's a stark contrast. But this is actually a fucking good song. It's my favorite song in the movie. "I stand alone." I actually like this song a lot. "I stand alone, like every tree, stand on its own, reaching for the sky. I stand alone, I share my world with no one else, all by myself. I stand alone, I know the sound of each rock and stone, and I embrace what others fear. You are not to roam in this forgotten place, just like the likes of me are welcome here. Everything breathes, and I know each breath. For me, it means life. For others, it's death." And we see a whole bunch of shit just fucking die. It's perfectly balanced like the Force, perfectly planned, more than enough for this man. Like every tree stands on its own, reaching for the sky, I stand alone. I share my world with no one else, all by myself I stand alone. Hey, ho, hey, ho, hey, ho, hey, ho. I've seen your world with these very eyes. Don't come any closer, don't even try. I've felt all the pain, I've heard all the lies, but in my world there's no compromise. Like every tree stands on its own, reaching for the sky, I stand alone. I share my world with no one else except Aiden. All by myself, I stand alone. All by myself, I stand alone. All by myself, I stand alone. And scene. It's the best song in the movie. And during all this chat, he's doing weird Force stuff. Like, the flora and fauna is alive. And so, like, he'll walk in a tree trunk and he'll just start moving. And it's like, oh. And it's like, all right. Sure. I stand alone. I'm going to say no. Yay. Thank you. It's a good song. But this whole sequence, like, the whole thing is, like, Garrett showing his competence. And he's very competent, Chad. He's, like, he sees better than most people. Like, he's Daredevil. Like, his senses are at a fucking 12. He hears everything, he can smell everything. He just knows. He can feel, like, the vibrations in the air. All the fucking animals and plants love him. All the hentai plants love him, Chad. They're all about him. Like, oh, this is a great fucking guy. This is a great guy. And meanwhile, which is hilarious, this feels like Mother Nature. This feels like vengeance for the treatment of the farm animals are in the movie from Kaylee, because all the other animals in plant life is just fucking with her as she tries to follow him. So she's getting, like, sucked in half forward by, like, these giant piranha plants, chat, and she's, like, falling in water and muck and shit. It's like, it's hilarious. She gets what she fucking deserves. And eventually, you know, they're like, this is, you know, all right. Because the whole thing, she's like, well, that's fine for you, Garrett. But, you know, I want to do this too. Do you know that my dad died? He served King Arthur. He's like, all right, fine. You can come with me. And that's all it is. It's like, all right, fine. I stand alone except now. And so they go off. Meanwhile, though, Chad, during this whole sequence, someone has been following them, and it's the chicken. It's Jaleel White, Bladebeak. And he sees this, and he reports back to Robert, who has followed Kaylee along with the guy. Oh, by the way, the frog things to show, like, we can actually have a giant stone frog for this guy. It vomits up the abomination monster, and the whirlpool stops, and the other guy comes out of the water. So they're both okay. I thought it'd be cool if you killed them. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. But no, they went in half measures. And Robert's like, where's Kayley? You lost her, you stupid failures. And Bladebeak's like, hey, man. Hey, man, I'm like, oh, God, Jaleel White, no, Jaleel White, no. Hey, man, I saw them go that way. He's like, are you sure? Yeah, I swear. He's like, yes, they went this way. Let's follow them. And he drops him. And they run off to follow Jaleel White. Did I do that? And so they follow Kaylee and Garrett and Aiden and all that. And then we get, at this point, the weird scene in the movie. I'm like, how weird can it get, you? Because all of a sudden, the filmmakers went, you know what we need? More modern day references. Not even modern day references. We need a reference to a movie that came out like 30 years ago, 20 plus years ago at this period, chat. Because Jaleel White, Robert drops him in a mud puddle, and he, like, starts cleaning himself off because he's covered in mud and muck and piss and shit and everything. And he looks at the camera, and he goes, are you talking to me? Are you talking to me? And he starts back. I'm like, I'm not joking. And he starts, like, backing away, and he, like, turns around, and he goes, you talking to me? I'm the only one here. It's like, why are you making a taxi driver reference in Quest for Camelot? It has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with another scene. What just happened? It's just there. And I'm like, why? Corey, I will have a stroke reviewing. He might. They should. Corey and Martin should review this movie. They should absolutely review this movie, chat. And it is just odd when it happens. They do like two other. Oh, they do. And that's not the last time we see Bladebeak, chat. Don't worry. Yes, he has a whole nother modern day thing, an even older movie to quote. It's like, wow, okay, that was weird. And then, chat, we transition, and we're with Kaylee and Garrett again, and Aiden and shit. And they're arguing. They're arguing, and they come to this part of the Forbidden Forest where they're in the dragon bone graveyard. Sounds familiar, chat? A bone graveyard? Does that sound like, I don't know, the elephant graveyard from Lion King? It's the same thing. And so they go through the dragon bone graveyard. And they're walking in there, and then they're arguing. I don't care. It doesn't matter what they say. And then we meet one of the most annoying characters in the movies, or two of the most annoying characters in the movies. And it's this two-headed abomination dragon, chat, voiced by, who was it? Eric Idle and Don Rickles. You know, Don Rickles, famous, stand-up comedian, insult comedian, chat. I was already doing voice work at this time, chat. He played Mr. Potato Head. Both, funny enough, in the 95 Toy Story and this, in 1998's Toy Story 2. It's like, oh, shit. He's like, well, I'm going to keep doing this. Didn't work out. And Eric Idle is a British comedian as well. And they play the characters of Devin. Eric Idle plays Devin, and Don Rickles plays Cornwall. And it's just this two-headed dragon who, like, you know, they're brothers who were born fused together, and they hate each other. They've been that way for 100 years. They can't decide anything. They can't get anything fucking done. The other dragons hate them because they're so annoying. It's like, I get it. I would kill them. I would eat them, but I'd be afraid that if I ate them, then they would infect me and my future children would be looking like them and acting like them. So I'd be like, we just kind of let you live. But they're like, they can't fly. They're deformed. That's what they are. They are literally deformed, chat. And they don't shut the fuck up. And all their dialogue is just like, I hate you. I hate you more. That's it. And, you know, eventually, you know, Garrett and Kaylee are like, well, you're so fucking pathetic. I guess you could join us on our journey. You're like, yeah, let's join them, Cornwall. I don't want to join them. I don't like them. It's like, you should join them. That's all it is. And then they're attacked by a dragon. Thank God. So this dragon's coming for them. And apparently they're like, why is the dragon attacking us? And, you know, fucking Cornwall and Devin explain, well, dragons aren't supposed to help humans, and we're helping you, so we're already really hated, and so they hate you even more. And they're like, fucking great. Thank you, Avocado Bravado, for the 10 biddies. These accents are everywhere, American English, and Mr. Potato. Yeah, an elderly Jewish man who's from New York. They're all over the place. All over the place. There's no consistency in this movie. So they hide, but then fucking Robert, he's like, oh, they start chasing after them, chat, and the heroes, they go inside this crevasse, and they go into a cave and they hide there, while Robert and his men have to fight a dragon. And this is where I'm like, oh shit, I thought, oh, this is gonna be cool. We're gonna get a nice action scene, because there really hasn't been a lot of action in this movie. Like, other than the Daredevil part with, you know, Garrett earlier, really hasn't been that much action so far. And so it's like, oh, we're going to get like a dragon abomination metal man battle between Robert and the dragons. This is cool. And while we see, chat, like Robert, like the dragon confronts Robert. It's like, I don't know that. And Robert throws down the sword, and the dragon gets close to him. He goes, boom, and he punches him, and that's it. And it cuts to black. It's like, what happened? We don't know. We don't know. We'll see. You'll find out what happened, chat. But he literally throws down his sword and punches the dragon, and then we cut. We are then in a cave, chat, of wonders. They're trapped. So let me know if this sounds familiar, chat. The heroes are trapped in a cave. They don't know where to go. But they have one character who knows the exit, and knows exactly where they need to go, chat. It's fucking Aladdin. It's the genie. When he's in the cave of wonders, and he's like, Al, baby, I give you 3 wishes. One of these wishes, I can get us out of here. It's like the same fucking thing. But before that, we need to get the Robin Williams genie-esque song of this film. And all this song is, it's referencing all sorts of things that are hundreds and thousands of years in the future, chat. We get references to television. We get references to Elvis Presley. And it's like, what is happening? It's like with Genie and Aladdin, it made sense. He's this magical, all-knowing, fucking omniscient being. He sees everything past, present, and future. It's like, I get that. It's Robin Williams, too, and he can sell it. Don Rickles and Eric Idle cannot sell this. They couldn't do it, Chad. They couldn't do it. I don't blame them. I even blame them. It's the song, it's the dialogue, but oofa, it's not a good song. I'm gonna make my attempt at it, chat. Yeah, if I didn't have you, and they reference like dinosaurs and rhinos and shit and other flora and fauna. It's like, what the fuck? It doesn't make any sense. But here we go. Here we go. If I didn't have you, I'd be rocking with the dinos, swinging with the rhinos. IBD, dragonizing this cave in a minute. Cold while they would sing, cause I would be the Dragon King. I would love this world without you in it. If I didn't have you, if you didn't have me, if I didn't have you, well, how about if I didn't have you, huh? Oh, what I could be if there was only me. Oh, what I do if I didn't have you. Stop bickering, get your act together. Act? Did someone say act? I can act. If only I had a separate parts, my career would be in the arts. I'd be the star of Camelot. You'd be half that the whole world forgot. If I didn't have you, I should be so lucky. If I didn't have you, oh wait, you'd be dead. Both. Oh, what I could be if there was only me. Oh, what I do if I didn't have you. Oh, what I do if I didn't have you. Trapped, stuck here with you for 500 years. Oh dear, it's learned to count. If you got me a good lawyer, I could have split 400 years ago. Now listen here, pal. I didn't come here to be insulted. Oh, where you usually go. I'd be a fire-breathing lizard. I'd be one fly high wizard. You'd be nothing without me. You'd be extinct. You'd cease to be. I'm so tired of your nagging, and I'm so tired of your bragging. Without me, you have no brain. But with which to think. I'd be rocking with the dinos if only I had separate parts. Swinging with the rounds, I'd de-dragonize this cave in a minute. My career would be in the arts. They would sing, I'd be a star, Camelot, because I would be the Dragon King. I would love this world without you in it if I didn't have you. 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 Yeah, 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 this way. Let me lead. Yeah, 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 yeah. No, this way. Twinkle toes. Life could be so sweet if these were both my feet. What I'd do if I have you? I got you, babe. Oh, what I'd do if I didn't have you? Well, if I didn't, if I didn't have, it goes fucking on. It goes on. It goes on and on and on and on and on. It sounds like the DK rap. It does. It morphed into the DK rap. God, this song's making my tum-tum sad. It's an awful song. It's not good. Oh, Lord. You saying it's cool, not great, and annoying. Thank you. Oh, it just keeps going. It goes on. It's just fucking. It was hard to read the lyrics. They keep switching back to them. Every character. Oh, but they fucking end their song, and they're like, all right, we'll lead you out here. And so they lead him out of their chat. They lead him out of the fucking, the cave system. And they end up going through this little part of the forest, part of the Forbidden Forest, and they're like, oh, and it's like Kaylee and Garrett are like, we made it to the Forbidden Forest, but our most arduous journey is yet ahead of us, Kaylee. Who knows what evils we might, and he gets shot with a fucking arrow, and Robert is just like, yes, I see you, I knew you'd be here, and so fucking Kaylee grabs him along with, the dragon and Aiden, and they run deeper in the forest. Then Robert loses him with all the rest of his goons. And eventually, Robert's frustrated, so they go back, they make camp there, and they're like, we will track them down shortly. Yes. And we see what happened to the dragon earlier, chat. So they killed the dragon, we didn't see it, and they're eating it like chicken. It's like, tastes like chicken. And Bladebeak's like, oh, God. And we get a really weird scene where he's like, my men, my followers, my slaves, go and find them, search the forest. And he grabs like a hot coal from the fire and just holds it in his hand and goes, ooh. And that's it. It's like, this is fucking weird. And then, we cut back to Garrett and Kaylee and the fucking abomination dragon. And Garrett's like, oh, my tummy, because he got hit with an arrow. And they find this cave, and this is the part where Kaylee and Garrett fall in love. They just fall in love. I don't know why. They just do. They just do. It doesn't matter, because they sing a song. I don't even know. Is the song here? It might be. It's not here. maybe it's looking through your eyes. It might be that. So I'll try this thing in chat. And what's weird though, it's bullshit. Because she lays him down in this cave and she takes these leaves shit that she finds. She just finds these leaves. I don't know what they are. And she puts them on Garrett's tummy where he got shot with a fucking arrow. This is modern day. This is medieval medicine, chat. And through the power of song, it cures his wound. I am not joking. It cures his goddamn wound, chat. That's exactly what fucking happens. And you're like, all right. And then they start singing, chat. The power of friendship, chat. The power of goddamn love. So we can go ahead. I'll sing this goddamn song, chat. Looking through your eyes. Because it's ironic, chat, because Garrett, he's fucking blind. Get it? Huh? Look at the sky, tell me what do you see? Just close your eyes and describe it to me. The heavens are sparkling with starlit tonight. That's what I see through your eyes. I see the heavens each time that you smile. I hear your heartbeat just go on for miles. And I suddenly know why life is worthwhile. That's what I see through your eyes. That's what I see through your eyes. Here in the night I see the sun. Here in the dark our two hearts are one. It's out of our hands. We can stop what we have begun. And look, just look at me by surprise through looking through your eyes. I see a night I wish I could last forever. I see a world where we're meant to be together. And so much more than I remember, more than I remember, more than I have known. Here in the night I see the sun. Here in the dark our two hearts as one. It's all of our hands. We can't stop what we have begun. And our love just took me by surprise, looking through your eyes, looking through your eyes. And there you go, chat. That's the song. That's the love song. They fall in love. They fall in love because reasons. Because reasons, chat. Reasons. And so magic leaves and love singing heals them. And they get up the next day and they continue their journey. And they see these giant fucking footsteps, chat, leading towards where they think the sword fell. I don't know. Aiden says it's this way. And they're like, oh shit, these are ogres' footsteps. Get out of my swamp. It's Shrek. It's Shrek's fucking footsteps, chat. My lord, my lord. And so they follow these giant fucking footsteps. They go inside the cave. And then we see something that apparently Warner Bros. Animation ripped off that was not Disney. That was not DreamWorks, chat. They ripped off fucking Neverending Story. That's what they fucking ripped off, chat, because the ogre looks exactly, chat, exactly like the rock biter from Neverending Story. Like, these hands are strong hands. I held on to my friends, but they slipped away, and the darkness took them, and soon it will take me. And I was like, oh, and but it's shitty. It's like this is the CGI creature in this movie. It's like, ooh, that looks bad. And they notice that the ogre is using Excalibur as a toothpick. That's what it's using. It literally, like, it picks its teeth and goes, and it puts the fucking toothpick inside of its own cheek. It's like, you. And like, we gotta grab that fucking toothpick, okay? So they do the whole thing where they're on a branch and they lower themselves one by one. And Kaylee grabs Excalibur, but right when she grabs it, Chad, Rubert's like, there they are. He shows up. He's just there. It doesn't matter. They just show up. Like, the editing in this movie is awful. He's just there. And there they are. Captain the Ogre's like, huh? And when Kaylee's like, oh shit, and they go back onto the side of the ledge and they start running, and the ogre sees the little abomination monster and goes, nope, and he just smushes them. He kills them, Chet. They're all dead. And go, no, and they pancake. And then Rubert's flying on the griffin, and the fucking ogre just smacks it, chat. It just smacks it, and the griffin and Rubert go, oh, and they fall on the ground, and the ogre just like, I'm gonna sit on you guys now. He just sits on him, and then we get one of the worst dialogue reads I've ever seen in a movie. Like, why do you have to say it? Because then Gary Oldman says, oh, the ogre's butt. He just says, the ogre's butt. Like, we know it's the ogre's butt. But in case we didn't know, chat, in case we didn't know, the Griffin even says, well, it can't get much worse than this now, could it? And Rupert's like, oh, don't you dare. And then we hear, and the ogre fucking farts, and they are catapulted at the wall, chat, and go boing, and they're embedded in the wall via the power of flatulence, chat. I am not joking. This happens in the movie. The ogre's butt. Precisely. Oscar-winning girl. Oscar-winning, multiple Academy Award nominated, Oscar-winning actor Gary Oldman. The ogre's butt. Brilliant. And so, Kaylee and Garrett and the fucking dragon and Aiden, whatever. They get out of the cave, and they get out of the forest, and they're at the precipice of Camelot. Like, Camelot is like maybe a mile away. Like, oh, we get there, we're good. And then Garrett, for whatever reason, says, yeah, I can't go back there. And Kaylee's like, why? I love you. And we're going to return the sword. You can be a fucking knight. He goes, yeah, no, I can't. She goes, I saw you do Daredevil level shit in there. You were kicking all those guys. You took an arrow to the fucking tummy, but the power of leaves and love and sinning cured you. You're kicking ass, man. Camelot can use you. And he's like, nah, I used to be there. And she's like, well, why don't you want to go back? He's like, well, let me tell you my backstory. And so we actually see Garrett in the beginning of the movie. He's a stable boy, much like King Arthur was all those years ago. He's just some fucking doofy farm boy, but he wants to be a squire. And this is where we get into some weird coincidence shit. It's like some Star Wars level coincidences, where apparently, like, Kaylee, I always knew who you were. I knew your dad. It's like, she's like, wait, what? She's like, oh yeah, I knew your dad. I always knew you had it in you. See, anytime, and it's really fucked up, because you know how your dad said he'd always train you? He said he'd always make you a knight, but never did. Well, it's funny. When your dad would come to Camelot, he would actually train me to be a knight. And she's like, what? And so we get this flashback where he's being trained by Sir Lionel to be, whatever the fuck the guy's name was, to be a knight. And, you know, he's great at it. He's like, Garrett kicking ass, Che. He's like, oh, my lord. He's a shooing. Shooing for knighthood, shooing for lordhood, shooing for fucking the kingdom if he wanted to. I think he'd be a better king than goddamn Artie, no doubt about it. Creepy Anakin? Not just the men, but the women and the children, too. I hate them. I slaughter them like animals. Yes, creepy Anakin. Thank you, Street Shoot, with the 5 biddies. And we get that's how he knows all his skills from Sir Lionel. But apparently, after he died, there was a fire. There was a fire at Camelot, and the stables were burning. And he was a stable boy, so we got all the some drunk asshole like set him on fire. And he got all the horses up. But this one horse is like, you know what? I hate that fucking kid. Even though he feeds me every time, even though he brushes my coat every day and keeps my stable clean and like gets all the shit out of there, I just fucking hate this kid. And this fucking horse just freaks the fuck out and just beams him right in the fucking face, Jet, right here. Now, this is where it doesn't make any sense. He falls back, hits the back of his head. Now, the thing is, Jet, with vision's in the back of your head. That's the way when you like fall backwards and you see spots, or it's like you almost like a shadow, or like your vision gets all blurry, because vision's in the back of your head. That's what they know. Scientists know this. This fucking thing hits him in the front of the head. One, it should have killed him, because the force of that fucking horse's hoof, and it had the horseshoe on it, would have killed him. But, and by the way, he would have been horrifically deformed. He probably would have died. And so why he's so fucking handsome is beyond me, but it's like, all right, whatever. And they he left him blind. He became blind, chat, even though he didn't fall in the back of his head. The thing is weird, because I actually knew a kid. Maybe it was middle school, like middle school, high school age. No, it was college. It was my undergrad in Connecticut. I knew a kid who fell off these bleachers, and the back of his head was bad. You heard it go. You just heard it. And he was blind for 3 fucking days. His vision just went out. Because all of a sudden, like, we ran up to him. I don't know, he just fell. I think because he fainted. And he came to again. And he opened his eyes like, I can't see. And because that's where all the vision is. And he was blind for like 3 days. And he had constant like vertigo. And he was vomiting. Like for a while. It's like, ooh, it was rough. But that's why I always know. That's when I learned, vision's in the back of your head. But why he's blind and not fucking deformed, it doesn't make any goddamn sense. But despite all that, even though he has all these Daredevil powers, he said, well, I'm kind of useless now. It's like, no, you're not. You never were. And Merlin's an asshole, because he's the magic man, and he can cure all of these ailments, but he can't cure this fucking blindness. Oh, we'll get to the end of the movie, chat, because there's some bullshit to be had at the very end. And he just like, I just exiled myself to the forest, and I just had my friend Aiden. Even though we know Merlin's been watching this kid forever. Because he sent this fucking hawk to guide him and teach him out the forest and shit. And he's like, well, I gotta go, Kaylee, I can't be here. She's like, all right, bye. And so they part ways. And immediately, as soon as Garrett's gone, it's like this is sending a bad message to little girls who watch this movie. As soon as the guy leaves, the male figure in the movie leaves, she's instantly captured by Rubert and all of his goons. And she's thrown into the back of the carriage with her mom. And Rubert's like, yes, this is all part of my plan, Kaylee. And you've brought me Excalibur. And he takes Excalibur, chat, and he takes the fucking wishes potion, which has Acme on it. And he's like, I will make sure the sword never leaves my hand. And he drips the potion on his hand and the sword until it's fused to his fucking arm. And so he has an arm sword now of Excalibur. He's like, think it suits me, don't you think? She's like, not really. And so they go in the fucking carriage, and this is the plan. This is Rubert's plan. We kind of heard in the song, like, I'm going to use your mother as bait, basically. I'm going to have her at the front of the caravan. They're going to have her come in there because Rubert and his men have been attacking. They want to go there for refuge and shit. They'll let her in there, and, like, no one will be any of the wise. Even though you would know those guys would come out of the fucking gates and check each and every single carriage to make sure, but, like, no one fucking knows. It's like, that's part of my evil plan, yes. And by this time, Aiden sees all this bullshit, and Aiden goes back and with the dragon, and they try to convince Garrett to go for Kaylee. And Garrett's like, fuck, I do love her. And he sings his I'll Stand Alone song again. But then he's like, there's no way we can get there in time, even though I've only walked like about a mile. So unless you're like really tired, Garrett, I don't know. There's no way we'll ever get back there. And the fucking two dragons start arguing, and because they're so angry that they literally just start flying. It's like, all right, their anger just caused them to finally start flying. She's like, you're flying. They're like, yeah, we are flying. We do work well together. Yes, we do. And they become loving brothers. It's like, it doesn't matter. And so Garrett hops in the back of Cornwall and the other one, where the fuck his name is, and they fly away, Devon, and they fly towards Camelot, chat. Meanwhile, we cut back to the carriage, and the Jaleel White chicken abomination monster is apparently, he's kind of like, I kind of feel bad for, like, imprisoning my wife and for, like, you know, fighting against Kaylee. I'm going to be a good guy now. That's what I'm going to do. It's just decided, chat, for whatever, even though he's been helping the bad guys the entire time, he just wants to fuck chickens all day. He's like, I'm just going to be a good guy now. That's it. Muscular legs, thank you for the 10 biddies. Appreciate that. Really do. And so he's like, I have a plan. And so he just cuts Kaylee's bonds. He's like, Bladebeak is here to the rescue. And he just cuts Kaylee's bonds because this is what needs to happen. It needs to happen. He didn't have a character arc. He just decides, I'm a good guy now. I just want to be a good guy. He's like, all right. And so she's like, okay, shit, we got to plan this right because I have to alert King Arthur and all the guys. But, you know, all the guards on top of Camelot, they see Princess Jezebel, where the fuck her name is. And Rubert's like, make sure to make it look real. And the thing is, though, what's very interesting about this scene is, like, they're just talking to Lord or Lady Jezebel, and they're not even looking at the really weird, mysterious guy cloaked in all black, black horse, black sidle, justice. Like, what? Maybe who's that guy with you, Lady Jezebel? Who's that? And no one asked that question. They're like, oh, it's Lady Jezebel. Oh, I'll open the gates, let her in. Yeah, who gives a fuck? And they all let her in. All the carriages are going in there. But then one of the guards realizes that, one of the abomination guards realizes that Kaylee is trying to get free. And he tries to stab her with his giant, stupid axe and sword hands. And he falls through, chat, and it reveals himself to the guards. It's like, wait a minute. We've been bamboozled. We've been deceived. And Rebel's like, attack, my followers. Attack. And then all chaos breaks out on Camelot, chat. All the abomination monsters start fighting. And while Rubert, he goes to the castle to confront Artie and kill him. To kill King Artie. And Merlin, by the way, is not in this for the rest of it. I don't know what the fuck happened to Merlin. Merlin has about maybe 2 scenes. And, oh no, 3 scenes. He comes at the end and is like, oh yeah, I totally planned all this. Like, bull fucking shit, Merlin. You didn't plan shit. Shut up. But the whole fighting's breaking out. Kaylee goes to rescue her mother, Lady Jezebel and shit. And they're taking refuge, and she's stabbing these guys in their tummies, but they're being overrun. The guards being overrun. But until the appearance, chat, of Garrett and the dragon, Aiden, they fucking swoop down. And Garrett, he falls off of Cornwall. And the other one, Devin. And very weird line here because she's like, oh, Garrett, are you okay? He's like, don't worry, Kaylee. I hate flying coach. Why would you say that? Why are you making a very modern day plane reference? You don't have it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And you know, they're all surrounded by these abomination monsters. They're all about to kill them, chat, until Jaleel White, the chicken, Bladebeak, steps in between them and his fellow abominations. And Jaleel White, who has pretty much been a villain for the movie, a weird villain who's like, I guess I'm in the movie. He has this line, chat. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, he had the whole fucking line earlier. He's like, are you talking to me? Are you talking to me? I'm the only one here. Chat, he's about to double down. Because he stares at all these abominations and is like, are you feeling clucky, punk? Are you feeling clucky? And it's like, are you feeling lucky, punk? Well, do you? Like, you know, like Clint Eastwood's character from, Dirty Harry. And it's like, why are you doing this? And he fucking freaks out, and he starts killing all of them. But again, it's just so awful. Mordecai, good to see the movie. It sucks, man. Made for a fun video and audio commentary. He goes off and everything. Eventually, Rupert goes in the keep, and Artie's just sitting there. He's like, hey. It's like, Artie, it's so good to see you. I shall be king of Camelot, me and mine, not yours. And it's like, Rupert, you will never defeat us. With the power of friendship and valor, and I say friendship, yes, you did. You will die now. And he tries to stab him. And Garrett, like, Kaylee, I'll hold off the abomination guards. You save the king. And so Kaylee runs in there, and her and fucking Rupert get into a sword duel. They get into like, they're dueling chat. He's like, a little girl, you never defeat me. I am Rupert, your future king. You shall be mine. Your mother shall be mine. Everything shall be mine. And there's all that shit. And eventually, the battle goes out into the courtyard, chat, where, funny enough, the stone from where Excalibur came from, and Kay is like, I gotta bamboozle this fuck. He's better at sword dueling than I am, so I just have to rely on his fucking stupidity to betray him. And so she just keeps backing up the whole time. Like, he goes, no, Kaylee, stand still, I'm trying to kill you. And he's always like twitching and shit, and he's stab until she goes, whoop. She just fucking doink, gets out of the way, chat, and he stabs the sword back in the stone. And the stone's like, oh, you're not supposed to have that sword, motherfucker. He's like, oh, no, the stone. I have Excalibur, but it's part of me. Oh, no. And he explodes. And I don't know how this happens, but when the sword enters the stone, it shoots beam of light in the air, Avengers beam of light, and it shoots out these waves of blue energy, and it cleanses the entire kingdom. And so all the abomination monsters turn back into regular guys, so they're not metallic, things. Bladebeak turns back into a rooster/chicken. Everyone's cured. Even Devin. This is what's weird. Even Devin and the other one, Cornwall, they separate, but they're like, no, we want to be together because we love each other. And they were like, well, they came back together and they fused into one abomination dragon again, even though they were separate. But the one thing that this fucking wave does not cure is Garrett's blindness. It cures all these maladies, Chad, all these diseases, everything, except that motherfucker's eyes. And he's like, I still can't see. Fuck. And then Arthur comes out and he goes, oh, thank you so much, Kaylee, Garrett, for saving my king. Merlin's like, I knew all about it. Merlin just walks down there drunk and saying, by the way, even though I've only been in the movie for like 2 scenes, my 3rd scene, I've had a hand in all this, by the way. I was the one that sent Garrett in the forest. I was the one that sent Aiden out there. I always believed in you, Kaylee. I don't really know you. We don't not really have relevance, but I was in charge of everything. Anyway, Merlin out, baby. And he just leaves. It's like, all right, thanks, Merlin. And King Arthur's like, well, oh, Jesus, well, we need a knighting ceremony after all now, don't we? And then we get this knighting ceremony, chat. And everyone, all the knights and shit, every lords and shit, they're all there. And Arthur's like, I would like to welcome Sir Garrett and Sir Kaylee, which is bullshit. They would not let that happen, but it's an animated fantasy film. We'll allow it. It's like Sir Garrett and Sir Kaylee, Knights of the Round Table, Lords of Camelot. And they're like, here. Yeah, everyone's happy. And Merlin's like, I planned all this. No, you didn't, Merlin. No, you didn't. And then we get the perfect ending. It's so representative of this movie of Kaylee and Garrett. But I don't know if they get married too. Maybe. Looks like she's wearing a white, I don't know. Maybe they get married as well. But they ride down a horse from Camelot. And on the horse's ass, chat, there's a sign tied to its tail that says just knighted. And that is that is the perfect final image for this movie, is a horse's ass. Because that's what this movie is, chat. This scene by scene breakdown is just to tell you this movie is some old bullshit, chat. Like, maybe it has one good song, like, I Stand Alone. Like, that's a good song. I like that. In the weird fucking Fern Gully Forest, I'll take that. Other than that, awful writing, really bad animation, some shitty songs, a terrible fucking villain. Like, when you fuck up the villain song, I got a problem with that. You know how much I love my villainous songs, chat. And Rubert's just shouting most of the time. It's an awful movie, chat. It's some old horse shit. 5 out of 5 nods and smiles. That's not brownie. Oh, my Lord. Yeah, and this is a commercial failure for Warner Brothers, a critical failure for Warner Brothers. Has its fans, I guess. I mean, it does have its fans. Some of you guys liked it. Judas is a full price for me. There you go. Fair enough. Better than Sex, the Stranger Shoe. This might be a fuck you rating. I was like, maybe it might be. I don't know. It's bad. It's a bad movie, chat. Maybe it's a little some old bullshit. No, because there is stuff I like, so I can't give it a fuck you. So it's like some old bullshit. little riddle for you, Harbo one. The Arthur and Merlin story is better than in Shrek fucking 3. It actually is. And I don't like that movie. So there's a production info about this film. Apparently, the original director was replaced a year before it was to be released. Well, that explains some stuff. I get that. It makes a lot of sense. Yeah, chat. Now, what I do recommend, if you ever do have to watch this someday, chat, and if it ever comes to that day, I do have a full-length video and audio commentary for Quest for Camelot on my Patreon at the $2 tier level, chat. For that $2 a month, you get access to that full-length video and audio commentary where you just see me just befuddled watching this thing, because that was the first time I ever watched it. Because maybe I saw clips years ago, but I didn't remember. But like actually watching this, I'm going, wow, this movie fucking sucks. That realization's just setting in. I'm like, oh no. Oh no. Oh Lord. RD, the way you described the villain, I thought of him from PPG. What's PPG? Crash Madrissa. Full price for me because of childhood nostalgia. Fair enough. You won. It didn't motivate me to watch it again. Oh, fair enough. By chat, I hope you enjoyed the review. We will now be moving on to some Resident Evil Village. Oh, Powerpuff Girls. Oh, him from Powerpuff Girls. Gotcha. Also, thanks to this film failing, a lot of anime movies were canceled at Warner Bros. The Zoo, Aquaman, Jack Kirby's New Gods, and the Iguana Brothers. That's fucking sucks. That's too bad. Yep. Remember the trailer. I remember watching the trailer years ago. I think in theaters, maybe. Yeah, maybe that's why I remember it from. I didn't watch clips online. I just saw this in theater. Like the trailer in theater. Oh, chat, but yeah. But that was a fun review. I hope you liked it, chat. Longer than I thought it would be. I was like, all right, got a lot of material from that movie. Thank God. But now, my friends, we will be jumping into Resident Evil Village in just a second. I'm just going to go ahead and freshen my beverage. In the meantime, please entertain yourselves amongst yourselves, chat. Stick around, you crazy kids. I'll be right back.